Hey everyone, I want to talk about two different cultural currents in Asatru, two different expressions of the ancient Nordic spirituality, and that is a European and a New World North American / Australia, New Zealand. And the Old World expression is more of a spirituality and the North American is more of a religion. And let me explain what I mean by that. You know, in Europe, when you're raised in a Nordic country, the legends and myths you're raised with them, your traditions, your holidays, even in school you're taught them. There's a lot of folklore passed down. It is inescapable. It's part of your identity. It's part of your national identity. It's inextricably linked with the self. Whereas in America, it became more of a religion. And that's to stand in direct juxtaposition to the other hostile religions in this country. America is a puritanical religion, and if you don't fit in with the Christian majority, in many cases you will be pushed to the fringe. And that's almost ubiquitous around the country. You know, the coastal regions offer a little bit of a safe harbor for people that don't fit in, but even myself being raised on the coast outside of the Christian church, I was still told things like I couldn't join in Cub Scouts or what have you because I wasn't raised in the church. And that would cause an uproar today. Either way, the Americans, having dealt with this hostility their whole life, you know, finding this faith that they believe in, or as time goes on with the internet, they try to put a natural hierarchy on it, a template of organization, right? They want community. They strive for community. Because if you've been raised here and you're not Christian, in many cases you've been suffering alone to further your own spirituality. And therefore you quest for it because you've been denied community your whole life. And of course there is no hierarchy in the Norse beliefs, and I don't mean to say that they're trying to create dogma, because they're not. They're just trying to find people that can be sounding boards to express their beliefs and feelings. Whereas in Europe, what would you need this community for? We're learning it in school. We're sitting around and talking about it. And I mean, I was raised as an American, but now I live in Europe, and I can see both sides of the coin. I see a lot of divisiveness. I see a lot of elitism on both sides. I see the Europeans looking down at the Americans thinking, oh, well, I was born with it. And I see the Americans looking at the Europeans and saying, well, you guys don't take it seriously. You're not organizing or protecting or creating. And you see a lot of things. You see like Islamophobic stuff coming out of the US and stuff like that, which is just silly because we all know what culturally happened when Northern Europe was converted. And I don't mean to talk or go on a diatribe about politics because the world is drastically changing quickly. All I have to say here is that both the European and the colonial North American, whatever you want to call it, expressions of Asatru are positive. They are just different from one another because you are a product of your culture in which you were raised. Positive or negative reinforcement, it all goes into who you are. And therefore, there's going to be different expressions. Now, I don't see one as right, one is wrong, like one is more innate spirituality, one is more religious. Of course, America has been documented as a very religious country, and Northern Europe is not very religious. It's as simple as that. Either way, when you're dealing with each other and you're dealing with other people that share your beliefs from different countries, try to remember this so it's easier to talk to and you don't find it so jarring, their different conception of what it is to be a follower of an old path or the old ways. Thank you, and enjoy your own Nordic journey.